So I don't believe we are following up with a global financial crisis as we had in 2008. Part of the reason for that is if we look at the failures of the banks over the recent month, we look at Silicon Valley Bank and we look at Signature. There were specific reasons why they failed, which were linked to a mismatch of assets and liabilities. If we look at other banks, we don't believe that we have evidence of similar mismatches. And if we look at the financial sector as a whole, what did we see? We saw the withdrawal of deposits from Silicon Valley Bank. They went into other banks. So the sector as a whole didn't necessarily see an outflow, although there was an inflow into some of the money market funds. But notwithstanding that, there wasn't an outflow from the sector as a whole. It was specific banks where there were specific concerns. That is very different to 2008, where there was a sector which was infecting the financial system in terms of the subprime mortgage market, especially in the US.
أنتم هنا في كولومبيا ثريد نيدل تتوقعون أن تظل معدلات التضخم عالية نسبيا خلال السنة الجارية، فكيف يمكن المستثمر أن يتحوط ضد ذلك من خلال استثماراته؟
So I think we've got to be a little bit careful when we talk about sticky inflation because we saw inflation in 22 in the Eurozone, in the US, typically up around 9–10% or so. We're seeing inflation fall this year to current levels 5–6–7%, depending which of those economies you're in. We'd expect those to fall further as we go through the summer. To the region of 4% or so. And so yes, inflation is sticky, and as much as 4% is meaningfully above the 2% and below levels we were seeing a few years back, but it is not that 7–8–9% that we're seeing in 22. What we have to be aware of though is in a period where you see inflation which is higher than it used to be, which are those companies which have pricing power? Which are those companies which have control over their own destiny? Because those are going to be the companies which benefit from this. The other thing which I would say is we've seen a rise in interest rates. We've seen a rise in the cost of capital. When the cost of capital was so low, those companies which may be not the strongest companies, were able to survive. They're able to raise capital at those lower rates. That is now going to be much more expensive for them. So we expect to see the strong get stronger and for there to be more challenges for those less well run, less well managed companies.